You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
So there's a lot of people out there talking about D23 and how it was a disappointment, how it was a missed opportunity. And to them, I got to say, what in the hell are you talking about? Did they not do what you wanted them to do? Because I see they did a lot of stuff. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Stay tuned for the Dan Wickline Show. So I was going to say, well, this is the D22. They glued a D4 onto a D20, but that would actually make it just a D20. I mean, it wouldn't be a D23, it would be a D22, wouldn't it? Because you're taking away one of the sizes of the D24 or the D20. Yeah. I don't know. Don't know how they do it. Hello, Cool, Triple B, and Ed. Good to see you guys. Glad you survived the weekend. We had D23 over the weekend, and there was a ton of stuff announced, trailers shown. Just, it was huge. Yet you go online and you look at some of the people that cover it, and they say stuff like, oh, that was a missed opportunity, or we are greatly disappointed. And you listen to them and you want to find out why. Because we saw a trailer for Werewolf by Night that we have the leader coming back. We have a trailer for Secret Invasions, and Man-Thing is going to be in the MCU. The Marvels, we got an understanding of what the power switch is. We find out for sure who Anthony Ramos is playing in Ironheart. That Daredevil Reborn is going to be basically a soft reboot of the Daredevil. We got a ton of information, plus stuff from Star Wars, Willow, Indiana Jones. But what the people, these people are upset about is it turns out their predictions didn't come true. Because they said, well, we're going to learn the cast of the Fantastic Four. We got the director, Matt Shakman, the director of WandaVision, is going to be the director of the Fantastic Four. Now, Marvel didn't say, hey, come to D23, we're going to show you the Fantastic Four. No. Nobody said that. Wasn't announced. None of that. But they still gave us the director. Isn't that good? We got the director now, so we know things are moving forward. Now, why they didn't give us the director? Well, because the movie is not until 2024. You know? It's like they didn't give us the rest of the, the missing movie in Phase 5 or the rest of Phase 6. Okay, they're not ready to. They gave us almost all of Phase 5, and they gave us 3 movies in Phase 6. And that's not enough? You wanted more? You know? I don't get it. They didn't confirm the Wonder Man series or the Nova series or tell us about Moon Knight Season 2. No, they gave us some information about Loki Season 2, about Echo, Daredevil Born Again, the upcoming series. Why, Secret Invasion, Ironheart. Why would we need so far ahead? I mean, plus you got to remember that they made a lot of these announcements just back at San Diego. So it's not like, well, they haven't announced anything new in a very long time. It was a month and a half ago. Why are people complaining? I mean, just listen. I'm gonna hit the highlights of everything that came out of D23, and you tell me if that's disappointing just because we didn't find out who the Fantastic Four is going to be, or because they didn't say there's a Wonder Man series for sure, or a Nova series for sure. All right. Starting with the non-Marvel, non-Star Wars stuff, we saw a trailer for Willow. We saw that Christian Slater is going to be in the series, and we know when it's coming out. Hey, Richard. Indiana Jones 5. They showed, now it was exclusive to the people there, but they showed some bits from there. Harrison Ford came out and got emotional about it being his last time as Indiana Jones. And we found out that John Rhys Davies is coming back for the movie as Sala. Awesome. I'm looking forward to Indiana Jones 5. We still don't know the subtitle, but I can live without that for now. Star Wars. They gave us that trailer for the... Yeah, Short Round was there, but he's tied to the Loki series. He's not going to be... It would have been interesting to see him show up in Indiana Jones. But that's one of the announcements from Marvel. But Kyle can't let me do my story in my own way. But, Ki Hui Kwan is going to be in Loki as an analyst for the TVA. We also saw Tom Hiddleston and Sophie DiMartino and Owen Wilson. They were all there. Interesting, though, Jonathan Majors didn't come out for the Loki thing, but he did come out for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Are we not going to have Jonathan Majors in Loki too? Or maybe they don't want to say he's going to be in Loki too because maybe he'll die in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's not going to die. There's Kang Dynasty coming. But from Star Wars, we got the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, which looks awesome. R5-D4 goes into space. He's jammed into that little droid cockpit on the back of a Mandalorian ship. I'm sold right there. They must have repaired his bad motivator. Kyle's starting a rumor here, Loki and Indiana Jones are in the same universe. Well, since it's a multiverse, it is possible. Which means Star Wars is possibly in the same universe as well. Therefore, Moon Knight could go on a venture with Poe Dameron.
Well, I guess that answers that question, doesn't it? Dan's internet cut out, and he's texting me right now that he's on his way back. Computer just crashed, trying to reboot. Send link just in case. I'm going to send him the small green man from The Legend of Zelda. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you guys about, well, I don't know what happened at D23, and I don't really know what happened anywhere else. So I'm just going to kind of chat. You guys out there in the comments field, what do you want to talk about while we wait for Dan to get back? He didn't mention, though, that they got Simpsons news and Muppets news. Have you guys seen the videos of the Muppets from D23? Like walking around, talking to people, Animal just like going haywire and yelling at folks. That was pretty fun. Hey, Dan's back, so I don't have to keep talking.
All right. I am on my phone now, so this is going to be a little different. My CPU has been having some overheating issues, so I'm just going to leave that shut down, and we'll go by the phone here. So, all right. So, yeah, just a ton of stuff. Now, I don't have my list anymore either, so we're going to keep talking. But there was just a bunch of information that came out this weekend on Star Wars. We had the Ahsoka Tano stuff. We found out who Ezra Bridger is going to be. And that came out a little earlier, but we found out the actor for that. We got a picture of Jude Law from Skeleton Crew. We got Tales of the Jedi. We saw some footage from that. We saw just, that they talked about the Bad Batch season 2. Again, it just a lot of stuff. Like I said, Mandalorian season 3, which looked amazing, and it just kept going. I mean, like I said, no, they didn't announce any big new. This is going to be a kind of a difficult episode, but they didn't announce any big new Star Wars movies, but there wasn't any supposed to be announced. They weren't talking about that. They weren't saying, "Oh, we're going to have a new Star Wars movie." That wasn't part of the plan. They've got some they're talking about, but they're not that far along. Kathleen Kennedy is supposed to have said that there wouldn't be another Star Wars movie announced until 2024. So, by the way, guys, I don't see the. Let me see if I can turn it about this way and see if I get any more. Nope, going back the other way. Yeah, I don't see the scrolling stuff on the side. I don't see the messages. So I don't know if Kyle can put them up.
The only way you would do that is you'd have to click the thing at the bottom of the screen and bring it on, and it's a whole mess. And now we can't hear you. All right, guys. It looks like Dan is going to have to go out and come back again. These are the kind of things when you're doing live shows that make it tough. He's trying his best. He worked on a really good breakdown of what happened to D23, as well as the She-Hulk stuff. And I know Dan really wants to get to it and to tell you guys all about it. And maybe if we can't get this worked out for you today, what we'll do is maybe later tonight we can do it on the In Stores This Week show.
Okay.
All right. Back?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, and I can hear you. Okay. What were you saying we could do on the In-Stores this week?
If this doesn't work out, if we keep having problems, we'll just do this stuff on In-Stores this week. We'll just go through the books really fast and be like, okay, Dan, talk about She-Hulk.
All right. So, no, we're going to keep going. And we got the Werewolf by Night trailer, which, if you guys haven't seen it, go look at it. As soon as this show's done, go look at it. It's freaking awesome. It's kind of a homage to the Universal Monster movies mixed with the Grindhouse. It is the coolest thing I've seen in a while. It's black and white. It's got all that Grindhouse feel to it. It's Gail Garcia Bernal. It's Laura Donnelly. They're playing Jack Russell, the Werewolf by Night. She's playing Elsa Bloodstone. At least that's the rumor. And if you watch closely in the clips, you'll see the Man-Thing. Okay? Marvel showed us the Man-Thing. To hell with the Fantastic Four. We got, like I said, Loki, short rounds joining Loki. We got the lineup for the Thunderbolts. Okay. U.S. agent. I never know if he's Winter Soldier still or if he's somebody else. But Bucky Barnes, Yelena Belova, the Black Widow, Red Guardian, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, also Taskmaster. It's still the same woman from the Black Widow movie. So, and then Valentina Allegra Di Fontaine is still running the team. So we got our Thunderbolts lineup. We don't know who the bad guy is going to be. We don't know what the story is, but we got a bunch of super soldiers and a girl that can phase through things. Interesting team. What else did we get? We got Captain America New World Order. Now, I found this one to be one of the most interesting things because Anthony Mackie came out. Sebastian Stan didn't. So there's a good chance he's not going to be in it. Might be, I don't know. But Anthony Mackie, Danny Ramirez, who played Joaquin, who's most likely going to be the new Falcon. Carl Lumley is back as Isaiah Bradley. They're going to introduce the character Sabra, who is a Israeli superhero who's part of the Mossad. She's been around for years. She was introduced in the Hulk comics and then showed up in Contest of the Champions. So she's been around a while, but yeah, so that's coming along. And then they said who the bad guy is going to be. And it's awesome. It's Tim Blake Nelson returning from the Incredible Hulk movie as the leader. Okay, that is something that's being paid off from 2008. 14, 15 years later, we're finally going to see the leader. And I still think he's going to pop up in She-Hulk. We'll have to see about that. But these are just some of the things we got. We got the Secret Invasion trailer, which feels like a spy thriller. It feels like it's straight out of the Winter Soldier film. If they said it was the Russo brothers directing, I would totally believe it. Okay, it has that feel. You've got Don Cheadle showing up as War Machine. You have Martin Freeman showing up as Everett Ross. You have Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. You got Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. You have Bensley King a Day or something. I'm not remember his name, and I don't have it in front of me. But as the villain, Olivia Colman, and they just confirmed Olivia Colman is playing a woman named Falsworth, who is tied to one of the original Howling Commandos, the British guy in there, Lord Falsworth. I can't remember his full name but he was also, Falsworth was the family name for the character who ended up being the Union Jack. And Olivia Colman's character is supposed to be working for MI13, which is their supernatural division or their superhuman division of the British government. So we've got that. We've got Amelia Clark coming in. You've got, that looked awesome. If you haven't seen that trailer yet, Dermot Mulroney is playing the president, and it looks like his motorcade gets blown up. Okay, it's just a ton of interesting stuff came out of D23. Like I said, Matt Shackman is the director of Fantastic Four. We got Echo. The crew from Echo came out, and Vincent D'Onofrio was with them. And they show a clip from it, and he's got the eye patch on, like he's been, the comic book story of how she ended up shooting him in the face and blinding him. So he doesn't die from that wound at the end of Hawkeye, which we didn't think he was going to, but he ends up shot in the face. So all of that's going on. It's just a ton of interesting things. And then he stays on stage when everybody walks off. He's like, what are you doing? He goes, I thought we'd want to talk about my show. And then from off stage, you hear, don't you mean my show? And out walks Charlie Cox, and they talked about Daredevil Born Again. And Charlie Cox tells one of the reporters that it's basically a reboot, that they are going to do a soft reboot. So it's not Daredevil season 4. It's kind of a soft reboot. But we're going to meet him in She-Hulk. So we'll get to see that. We got, now does that mean that Daredevil won't be an Echo? The rumor is he's going to be, that it's also going to involve Jessica Jones. But then we've also heard Jessica Jones is going to pop up in She-Hulk. I don't know. There's still word from the She-Hulk people that there's going to be more cameos than just the ones we've heard about. So maybe that's Jessica Jones. Maybe there's some other characters we're going to get besides like El Aguilar, or whatever his name is, and Porcupine. No brakes unless you need one, because let's not test the tech. Okay. So again, just a ton of stuff. I probably will take a break about halfway. So yeah, just an amazing amount of stuff that came out of D23. Also, I'm like I said, I don't have my notes now; they're on the computer. But other things that we got, like I said, Loki came out, Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and Paul Rudd said that the new movie is completely bananas. So I mean, there's a lot of good-looking stuff. They had like 10 to 12 things come up that they talked about. Again, freaking Man-Thing. And then you go online and you see all these people talking about what a disappointment it was, because it wasn't what they expected them to announce. But you've got to keep in mind that Marvel is pushing all these movies out and just cranking them out and cranking them out. And, we had a pandemic. A lot of things got pushed back. A lot of things got, the animation houses or the special effects house, the VFX houses are all backlogged. These guys are having a hard time keeping up, and now people want more and more announcements, and they're still just wrapping up. Let's spend time promoting the stuff that's coming up. It's like entire Phase 5 stuff is coming up, and that's what they focused on, is stuff in Phase 5, and everybody wants, the news from Phase 6. That just, to me, bugs me, to literally come on and say, oh, that was a missed opportunity. Was it? Because most of the people online I'm hearing aren't talking about, oh, we didn't get the Fantastic Four. They're talking, most of the fans are talking about the Secret Invasions trailer, the Mandalorian 3 trailer, the Werewolf by Night trailer, the Willow stuff. Those are the things that got people excited. They're not, remorse about what didn't get announced. Those are only the people who spend their time making predictions. Speculation's fun, but at some point, you've got to let speculation go aside and enjoy what you get, or you're just going to ruin everything. You're not going to enjoy the MCU because it's not exactly what you thought it should be. Oh, Abomination and Baron Zemo have to be in Thunderbolts. That's another thing I'm getting. What's Thunderbolts without Baron Zemo? Like a lot of the comics. He's not in all of the Thunderbolt comics. Some of them are run by Hawkeye. Sometimes they're run by U.S. Agent. Sometimes they're run by Luke Cage. And Zemo's not in any of those. Zemo's in the first one, but maybe they're not doing that story. Maybe they're doing a different Thunderbolt story. The team has changed many times over the years. They're just, there has to, well, if there's no Abomination, then it must lead into a Red Hulk. Why? Why does it have to lead into a Red Hulk? Could it lead into a Red Hulk? Absolutely. Does it have to? No. I don't think Marvel has to do anything. Marvel doesn't have to introduce the X-Men at any time. They don't have to bring Wolverine into the MCU. This is their thing. They can do what they want with it. But will they? Probably. Wolverine's a very popular character. Will they introduce Red Hulk? Maybe. Maybe they save him for World War World War Hulk if they do that. That was another thing. Oh, they didn't announce World War Hulk. They never said they were going to. You know, I mean, we can look at the lineup, and there's like 3 movies slots that don't have a movie attached to them between Phase 5 and Phase 6. And I have my guess that it's going to be Deadpool 3, Shang-Chi 2, and Eternals 2. And that will fill in Phase 5 and 6. If it's not that, though, that's fine too. I don't care. I'm going to give you my speculation, but I'm not saying this will happen. This has to happen because it's just silly. You know, you can't dictate what these studios do any more than the DC fans can dictate that Ben Affleck is going to be back as Batman, or Henry Cavill will be back as Superman, or the company's going to do what it's going to do. And then as a fan, you have the choice of either spending the money on the movie or not. That's it. That's the relationship. So all those people out there saying, one of those movies is Welcome to Wrexham, the motion picture. Wrexham. Maybe. I don't know what they're doing with that. I know a lot of people are liking that series. It's like a lot of people are liking the Ted Lasso series. I've never watched it, but the guy that plays on there is now Hercules, and he just won an Emmy last night, so good for him. So that's my thoughts on D23. You can't hear me again? Repeat. Oh, okay. You're messing with me here, man. You're messing with me. All right, guys. Let's go on. I think I'm going to talk about one thing before we get to She-Hulk. I had the opportunity, very guerrilla style, Dan. Nice. That's all I can do, man. The PC's not up and running. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to be able to do in-stores this week. It's going to be this way, too. The other thing I got to do this week is I got to watch not Thor the Dark World. Oh, my God. Thor Love and Thunder. And I know Thor Ragnarok is a pretty well-loved movie. And I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. My problem was it's not the Thor I want to see. Now, I put that aside to watch the movie and thought it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. But, you know, my Thor is still the first movie Thor. To me, Thor is sword and sorcery fantasy type stuff. And, you know, what we're getting now is almost Guardians of the Galaxy style stuff, which, all right. Thor Love and Thunder, I could have done completely without the opening, without everything to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because it takes, and this whole movie kind of takes Thor back to the Thor that he outgrew already. You know, he's back to being arrogant, thinking of himself as everything powerful. The whole conversation with Quill about letting him take the spaceship and all that stuff, like he's running the team. And it's like, how did we get that Thor back? Because we got rid of him. Okay. I hope you guys can still hear me. Good. We got that Thor was gone, and now we got him back. And I don't know why we have him back. You know, I don't know what happened. So to me, that was a problem with the movie. And then also, it's a very serious topic, the cancer thing. You know, what's happening to Jane is very serious, but they did it very lighthearted, and it didn't feel right to me. Now, there were some things about the movie I did like. There were moments, there were fight scenes, there were jokes. The introduction of Zeus, the way Russell Crowe played him, I thought was funny. All the other gods. Introducing Hercules is great. So there were things in it I did like, but I don't think it was as good as Ragnarok. And it's still not the Thor I want to see. But, you know, it's what Marvel has decided to do. Okay, we won't break. As long as I have material to keep going. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know. Like I said, there's things about it that I don't understand. Like Thor suddenly have the power to share his strength or share his power with everybody else. I don't know when that happened. To be able to give all those kids the power, but then again, he told Mjolnir to protect Jane, and now we have to accept that the weapons are sentient. You know, they can be upset, they can be mad or jealous, or yeah. And then the whole pouring the beer on the Stormbreaker was really weird too. So I don't know. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it had some funny moments, had some good stuff in it, but didn't love it. You know, I can see why people aren't big fans of it. So, yeah, it's on the lower end of the scale for me when it comes to Marvel movies. So, all right, let's move on to She-Hulk. Now, this episode of She-Hulk, episode 4, I should have hated. I really should have hated it. I am not a fan of sitcoms. So for me to, you know, this is not in my wheelhouse. Just like the first few episodes of WandaVision wasn't really in my wheelhouse. WandaVision was awesome. And She-Hulk is awesome. I'm enjoying the show. Madison, with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think, is one of the most annoying characters to ever pop up in the MCU. And she's hilarious. Because they made her ditzy, not ditzy, but they made her, you know, a drunk most of the time. All the kind of stereotypical things. But they didn't make her stupid. You know, she has conversation. That's the thing that I liked about her. And I thought she was interesting. I thought the connection between her and Wong was hilarious. By the way, a lot of people are like, in the closing scene, the post-credit scene, where Wong talks about how they have the yak milk left over from the wedding, and now everybody online is going, "Oh my God, what wedding? What wedding? Oh, who got married? Oh my God!" You need to check. There's an interview with the head writer. That whole scene was ad-libbed. They just put a camera on the two of them and let them do whatever they were going to do. So there's no big secret to the wedding. There's no big wedding. Oh my God, someone got married. We got to know who got married. No. It's just a joke. And I don't think we can take anything from the post-credit stuff as serious, but man, a lot of people are. After the Captain Rogers had sex thing, a lot of people are taking all these post-credit scenes pretty seriously, like the twerking. Well, here we got, it's just the scene of them talking alcohol. That's it. Vodka and yak milk. By the way, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Who would drink that? Gosh. But Madison itself, now Madison is someone that we got to keep an eye on. Besides the fact that she's now besties with Wongers, she said she made a deal with a goat demon named Jake, that she gave drops of her blood. We have a character who made a deal with the devil or a demon, and it seems like that might come back up. It might not. It might just be a throwaway line. And I wouldn't put it past him on a show like this. But I could also see She-Hulk having to go to hell and fight for, legally fight for Madison. Having to deal with the courts in hell. I could see them doing a story like that, and I think it would be entertaining. I think it could actually be pretty funny. There's been a few shows who've done that before, where you've had like demons or trials in hell and stuff like that. So I think that could be kind of funny. The dating thing was awkward, but there's a few people who think that one of the guys that she went out with, the guy who kept asking if her skin was impenetrable, if adamantium would vibranium would puncture it, he might be a plant by the big bad, the boss, who was trying to get the blood get the wrecking crew to get the blood. Yeah, I could see that. To me, that kind of matches up and could be part of the background plot. It would make sense. Plus, I've seen that actor before. So it kind of feels like, he wasn't just a throwaway. They actually were using somebody that they're going to use again. So that wouldn't surprise me. The other guys were simply throwaway people. I don't think, like, the guy she ends up hooking up with, I don't necessarily think he's going to be back. So I think we're just supposed to get that, that people either like her, like her as She-Hulk, they don't like her as Jen, which is kind of ridiculous. Tatiana Maslany is cute as hell. So I have a hard time believing that, okay, so maybe if you're attracted to the She-Hulk, you're not attracted to Tatiana, but it's kind of a long way to go on that one. So, but I did like how cool that guy was, and how he just kind of went with it. Oh, you had to run off? Yeah, I'm just going to lay here on the couch till you get back. I like that. He was a pretty good guy, and then suddenly he becomes a jerk because she's not She-Hulk anymore. So that seemed out of character. The guy is so nice, so cool, so calm, and then, you're not big and green. And wouldn't you go, well, you can turn back into her, right? Okay, great. Let's have breakfast. I don't get it. That part bugged me a little bit. I loved her dad showing up to protect her, even though she's a Hulk now. He still shows up to change the locks on her door and reinforce things. That's a dad. That is such a good dad. So, love that. I do like the relationship between Madison and Wong. For some reason, just the idea that Wong is just, they've been kind of building this into his character. Somebody was saying that, well, will we be able to go back to serious Wong after all of this? And I'm thinking that Wong isn't acting out of character. Wong has been this way since we met him. Because if you remember, Stephen Strange was kind of messing with him when he found out, oh, it's just Wong, well, like Beyonce and all that. And then next thing you know, he's listening to Beyonce. He's getting into the pop culture stuff. So that made perfect sense to me. That kind of continues that arc. So him sitting in Carmitage watching or binge watching The Sopranos, I'm good with that. I got no problem with that at all. It was an interesting choice, though, because you would think that they would pick something that they owned the rights to. I don't know. Do they own the rights to Sopranos now? Does Disney own the rights to Sopranos? I thought that was HBO. That would be Warner Brothers. So it's weird that they would pick their competitor's show. I love that they used the theme song. The band that does the theme song is called Alabama 3, which is interesting because they're a band out of England, but they named themselves after Alabama. They have some great albums. I have probably 4 or 5 of their albums, and they're a lot of fun. Woke This Morning is a little bit on the extreme of what they do, but they do a lot of really good songs. You might want to check them out. Go on YouTube, look up Alabama 3, try some of their other songs. I think you'll really like them. I do. Used to listen to them all the time when I used to program for a living. I would sit there at my desk and listen to them. Now, so I love the fact that he was doing that. The Donnie Blaze thing. Give me a second to get a drink. Donnie Blaze. Now, everybody, of course, saw Donnie Blaze and thought Johnny Blaze and thought we were going to get a Ghost Rider cameo. But as soon as it became clear that it wasn't Johnny Blaze, it was Donnie Blaze, I'm like, we're not getting a cameo. Again, set your expectations, folks. Hated that guy. Hated him. And you're supposed to hate him. And he's the director's husband, by the way. That's Kat Quiro. It's her husband. He's an actor, but it's her husband. Also, the woman who plays Madison has been in most of the things she's directed. So you can see where they came from. But she did have to, Madison did have to audition. So it's not like she, but she had everybody in hysterics in her audition, which I can understand. She's hilarious. But the interesting thing to me is the guy that was working with him, encouraging him to do the portal rings and sling rings and stuff like that. That actor is 104 years old. He's the oldest person to appear in a Marvel movie. That surprised me. I didn't think he was that old. 104. So, yeah, that's kind of cool to, yeah, he's a small role. He's more of a yes man, but 104. And I love the fact that his lawyer was a magician too. Oh, and if you don't know the reference, the place that they're playing, there is a famous location here in LA called the Magic Castle. And it is basically a invite-only club for magicians. And if you play the Magic Castle, then you're getting somewhere. And and if you go, you have to dress up. It's a big deal. And it's kind of a knock on that, or a play on the Magic Castle. So that I thought that was kind of interesting. But I've seen some people talk about, I've seen some people on YouTube talking about it, and obviously didn't know the Magic Castle reference. So they are referencing an actual place out here in LA that is pretty famous. So might want to check that out. Look it up online if you don't know anything about it. It's pretty cool. Overall, I thought the episode was good. Madison had me laughing. Wong, of course, had me laughing. How angry he got at Donnie. The fight scene with the demons, I thought was really good. You know, maybe a little cliche. I mean, we've seen that type of thing before, but you know, in this kind of show where they're doing a half-hour sitcom legal procedural, I don't know how deep you could get into the villains or the bad guy of the week episode thing. So I thought they did pretty good with that. You know, we didn't have to know where they were coming from or exactly how they worked or why when you step on them they come back to life. None of that was necessary because She-Hulk doesn't know any of that stuff. And I don't think she cares. I think once the problem was solved, she was like, okay, we're done with that. Though I am kind of curious how they were coming from one dimension and Wong was sending them to another. What was that other dimension? Are they going to be a problem in another dimension now? And why, in that situation, did he want his lawyer? Because it seems like he could have, you know, they have sling rings. He could have called in on anybody from Carmitage. He could have called on Doctor Strange. Maybe he didn't want to admit the problem. I don't know. But it just seemed like he could have gotten anybody to help rather than calling on his lawyer who can become a She-Hulk but has no training or has no fight training, really. But again, I like the episode. I kind of hope that the guy who was asking all the weird questions about her skin is part of the boss plot, because then it kind of makes sense. Then we're tying it in. We're moving the story along. If he's not, he's just a weirdo, then it's like, okay, we're not really, you have this background story you gave us last week. We're 4 episodes in. Are we going to move it along a little bit? So that's why I do hope, because then we are moving it forward. Now, the interesting thing to me is the announcement of Tim Blake Nelson coming back as the leader in Captain America New World Order. Now, I've been saying that I think he's the boss here, that he's the one trying to get the blood, because it would fit with who he is and the fact that he was collecting Bruce Banner's blood earlier. I could see him wanting it, whether to compare to the blood or maybe, you know, to rebuild the supply he had. Maybe he wants to make his own Hulk or a Red Hulk, maybe. So it made sense to me. Well, now that we've learned that he's coming back, I kind of feel that it makes even more sense. You know, we're going to get him back here, reestablish him, and then we go there. That would make a lot of sense to me. You know, and I kind of hope that's what they're doing, because there really aren't a lot of people that make sense are trying to get her blood. I mean, some people have said Kingpin, and I don't see it. I don't see that's how the Kingpin doesn't work that way, unless he's trying to use it to heal his eyes. You know, because the Hulks heal well, I guess. Power Broker would make sense, but she already has her version, or she had her version of the Super Soldier Serum, and now she has access to all these weapons and stuff. I don't know if she would want to incur the wrath of a Hulk, whether Jen or by extension Bruce. So maybe she's another possibility. And then the leader, but outside of them, I don't know, you know, who else would fit. And because we're not meeting them right away, it feels like it's going to be somebody we already know. You know, they're not really establishing the big boss. So unless they do that in the next episode or two, then I think it's going to need to be somebody we already know. But it also seems like the leader might be involved in other things as well. You know, there was something I was just thinking of that he could also be behind, but now it's slipped my mind. like I said, I'm totally off kilter with all of this going on. So, by the way, I should ask you guys, while you're here and you're suffering through this guerrilla style, as Jay put, hit the like and subscribe button for me, will you? And also remember that we have our new membership thing where you can sign up for special access, members only programming and stuff like that. So, remember to check that out, get on our mailing list, and remember to use Comic Shop Locator if you're in a new area and need to find a comic shop. You just go to comicshoplocator.com, put in your zip code, and bammo, they'll tell you the shops around you. It's kind of cool. So, all right. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the She-Hulk and Thor: Love and Thunder and D23. Now, the rest of this week, assuming I have my computer back up and running, will be tomorrow. We'll talk about the Rings of Power. I keep wanting to call it the One Ring, and it's not. I know. But we'll talk about the third episode of Rings of Power and anything else that pops up that's important. And then on Thursday, I am going to talk about, you guys seem to like when I did my how I would fix DC films. Well, the other day I wrote a little mini essay on what I would do with the James Bond franchise now that they're changing Bonds. And, Kyle was telling me that he thinks I should do more of those. So Thursday, I will tell you guys what I would do for James Bond. Now, I've been kind of open about some of the things I wanted to do with that franchise. Like if somebody came to me and said, "Hello, Dan, can you fix James Bond for us?" I've got ideas. I wouldn't be walking in blind. I'd be like, okay, you got to do X, this, and this. And it's not that Bond is broken. I thought Daniel Craig was awesome. I thought his 5 movies were great. But we're kind of in a new era. There's so much you could do with that franchise, more than they are doing. They have something that they could expand on, explore in a lot of great ways, and they're not. So I have some ideas, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So that'll be on Thursday. Next week, I will not be here Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm hoping to be back by Thursday. So got another medical thing coming up, quick surgery, but it's no big deal. It's going to be a simple one, but I will be back for that. And but so there'll be no Dan Wickline Show on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and in stores this week will just be Kyle and Jay. Now, speaking of in stores this week, tonight it's just going to be Kyle and myself. Jay is on vacation. Even though he popped up here, he's supposed to be in North Carolina. And he's also supposed to be finding me some Panther paraphernalia because I'm a Carolina Panther fan. So we'll see what he comes up with. So we've got Minute to Skim It tonight with Miss Jen. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then in stores this week at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, I don't know if we got anything else on the schedule today because I don't have the schedule in front of me. But those two are pretty constants. So you can count on that. And then I will be back tomorrow to talk about, if I can get my computer to cool down properly, to talk about The Rings of Power, which has been a fun series so far. If you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely give it a shot. So, all right, I am going to end it there. Let Kyle do a couple commercials because we didn't get any commercial breaks, so he can run a couple before the thing ends. But please stick around for those because, we want you to watch them. But thank you all for tuning in and putting up with a la phone today. And we'll see you later. Good night, everybody.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.